Well, we've been interacting with the Vortex, a mind-bending cinematic journey on 3 CD-ROMs, a virtual cinema movie by Greg Roach. We've been interacting with it. We've been talking with people. We've gotten a few endings. We've gotten a number of them. And there are, as it turns out, quite a few endings when it comes to this. So if you're wondering if your choices matter when it comes to the Vortex, well, for much of the game it doesn't really seem like it does, but it does turn out there are a lot of different endings you can get. Some of them, maybe less than serious. But how do you get these endings? Well, first of all, I should mention that as I've been attempting to interact with this interactive movie, I've continued to have the problems that I've had before on stream where the audio frequently doesn't work. So that means we're not actually going to be starting up the Vortex tonight. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to be watching some video files as to how this game could possibly go. So I've been looking through the video files, trying to piece together sort of paths that you might take throughout the game, trying to see how things might change. And what it seems to me is that the main path that we've been doing in the game, that doesn't change all that much. But there are small little things that you can choose that might change how your ending goes. You might remember at the beginning of the game, after the intro cutscene, there's a bunch of little video clips that appear on the sides of the screen. One of them is you can click on some bugs looking at you. Another of them you can click on you getting into a car crash, and another you can click on you lying down and you can see the Colonel looking down on you. There are a lot of video clips right at the beginning. And that choice that you make there seems to determine which ending you could get. If you play through the whole thing and the game doesn't stop working. That was a problem we've had, where the audio would stop working and I had to pick a chapter, and that would cut off the choice I made at the beginning, right? But you might remember, I think the first time we played it, I picked I was getting video clips where Drew was in an asylum, right? And we were shifting into a reality where Drew was in an asylum. And the reason that I was getting those was because that was the choice I picked right at the beginning. So I continued to get those video clips as I played throughout the game. So what I've been doing is I've been looking through these video clips and trying to piece together the videos that you might get throughout the game based on the choice that you made. Since actually playing through the whole thing from beginning to end is unlikely due to audio problems. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let us get started here. What I want to start with. Okay, so the first path we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at some video files that gets us to the Asylum ending. So we were seeing video clips where Drew was in an asylum. And you might wonder, well, where does that all lead to? How many video clips might you see? And what might the ending of that story be? We're going to find that out here.
Now you just lay still or I'm going to have to tighten those restraints. Now that's enough. Just take a fucking pill.
So if we pick the Asylum option, this is how it starts. Keep in mind, when I'm talking about the path to get to an ending, I'm just kind of guessing here based on what these video clips look like. But I think this is basically how it goes. You pick this option at the beginning, and I'm not sure who she is. Does she look familiar? Have we seen her in the game? I'm not sure, but there's a big close-up on her. It's lasting a while. Okay, so we hear that sound, and what that means is that the game starts, and we end up in the village, talking with the ladies with the wings, and then as we continue on, we occasionally get video clips like this.
Once we see some progress, we can think about sending you home.
So these will be an assortment of video clips that could be the responses to a conversation, all played one after each other.
Where am I?
Hold on. That's not quite right.
Where
There we
am
go.
I?
You're in a place where you can get some help.
How did I get here?
You were sent here.
Are you humans?
If we're not humans, what do you think we are?
Am I a prisoner?
Do you feel trapped? Do you feel like a prisoner?
Are there other humans here?
Yes, of course there are other humans here. What else would there be?
What's going to happen to me?
We're going to make you feel better. I'm trying, Andrew, and I need your help.
So, of course, you wouldn't be getting all of those clips at once, but they would be different based on the choices that you're making. But the idea is that on occasion, Drew might slip out of the reality of being on the alien world and slip into the reality of being in an asylum, and we would be talking to this doctor here.
Hey, you need to quiet down. I don't want to have to sedate you. Now stop yelling. They're just watching ITV. Nobody's laughing at you.
Where am I?
You're in a place where you can get some help.
How did I get here?
You were sent here.
What's going to happen to me?
We're going to make you feel better.
Am I a prisoner?
Do you feel trapped? Do you feel like a prisoner?
What's on TV?
I think it's Jeopardy 2000.
They're laughing at Jeopardy 2000?
Yeah, there's a lot of PhDs out there.
Why won't you help me?
I am trying. You need to help me.
I'm scared.
Hey, there is no reason to be afraid. Nobody's going to hurt you.
Can I talk to you?
Yes, of course.
I'm not sure what's happening to me.
Well, maybe I can help you to figure it out. Why don't you tell me what you think you're doing here?
I can't tell what's real.
What do you mean?
I think you may be a hallucination.
I think that myself sometimes.
So, at the beginning of this series of clips, you might have heard her say, they're not laughing at you, they're laughing at the TV. So you would have gotten to this part after you first talked to the council on the alien world, and one of the options you can get if you get mad is you can click on an icon and Drew yells, "Stop laughing at me!" And then you move to this reality, and this doctor tells you, they're not laughing at you, they're laughing at the TV. So that's how we get here. But this isn't the only person who is here to talk to us in this asylum reality. There's someone else.
Hey, Michaels. God, it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Griffin. Gee, you seem pretty chipper today. Golly, guess I'll mention that to the doctor.
Michaels? What the fuck are you doing here?
I came to tell you that the doctor's canceled your evaluation for today. He's decided to stay on vacation a few more days. Okay?
Michaels, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but you stay away from me.
Man, you are so melodramatic, Griffin. Fine, no problem. I'll stay away from you. I got work to do. Fucking nut.
Michaels? I thought you were dead.
God damn it, don't start that shit with me again. Jesus, I'll have you transfer the D-Wing if you don't stop it.
So, in this reality, Michaels appears to be like an orderly or a nurse. Obviously, Drew recognizes Michaels as being one of the soldiers from the other world, but that's not how Michaels remembers things. And of course, the question is this real or fake? Or at one point it was mentioned that there are separate realities. So maybe all of the realities that Drew goes to, maybe they're all equally real. So maybe this asylum is just as real as the alien world. If it is, then clearly Drew would probably not want to end his adventure here, but it could be possible. Let's see what else we can do, or who else we can talk to.
Thank God I found you. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to. I'm sorry they put you here like this. But this proves we're right. That's what they do, you know, when you're right. They bring you here, they alter your mind, and they bring you here.
Wait a minute. Who is they? Who are you talking about?
What does it matter? It's all the same. They are the ones doing it to us. The UN, those huge international corporations. It's all the same. Don't get caught up in technicalities. It doesn't matter who. That they're doing it is what's important.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Who is they? Who's doing this to us?
What does it matter? It's all the same. They are the ones doing it to us. The UN, those huge international corporations, they're all the same. Don't get caught up in technicalities. Doesn't matter who. That they're doing it is what's important.
So as we talk to Dr. Marks, she seems to be maybe between realities, in that it seems like she's saying that we're still in the first reality of the one where the UN is trying to conquer this other alien world, but we've been put into the asylum because we know too much. Also, as we watch her talk, it looks like that she has two takes for each of these lines. One of them, she talks more like how she normally does, and then the second one, she's kind of having some mood swings happening. So it's like the same lines, but different deliveries.
Where are we? What is this place?
It's a mental hospital. But not everyone here's a real doctor. They'll go to any length. They surgically alter their operatives to look like your friends and family.
What is this place? Where are we?
It's a mental hospital. But not everyone here's a real doctor. They'll go to any lengths. They surgically alter their operatives to look like your friends and family.
So how did you get here?
They brought me here. They're thugs. They're so brutal. They did things while they could.
So how'd you get here?
They brought me here. They're thugs. They're so brutal. They did things to me while they could.
So how the hell do we get out of here?
They lie to the doctors and tell them the things that we know are true are lies. So when we tell the truth, the doctors think we're crazy. Clever, isn't it? Make them think you don't believe any of it. Make them think you've become an ordinary person. Deny everything, no matter what they ask. You've forgotten it all. That's your best chance.
So how the hell do we get out of here?
They lie to the doctors and tell them the things that we know are true are lies. So that when we tell the truth, the doctors think we're crazy. It's clever, isn't it? Make them think you don't believe any of it. Make them think that you've become an ordinary person. Deny everything, no matter what they ask. You've forgotten it all. It's your best chance.
So one thing I'm wondering about is, what do you think you would need to do to choose between these two takes? Like, maybe the choices you make, like, would the choices you make determine whether or not you get the unemotional Dr. Marks or the very emotional Dr. Marks? I wonder what you might do to affect this particular. Which take do you get? I'm not sure what choices you could make that would actually affect this.
What do they do to our minds?
Drugs, ultra-low frequency radiation. The drugs are the worst. They erode your ability to believe. They make you think you're crazy, but you're not.
What do they do to our minds?
Drugs, ultra-low frequency radiation. The drugs are the worst. They erode your ability to believe. They make you think you're crazy. But you're not.
Come on, you should be ashamed of
Make them
yourself.
think you're better and they'll let you out, but be careful. They'll be waiting for you on the outside.
You're making me crazy. All right, Elizabeth. You know better than this. You know you're not allowed in here. Making me look all over hell and half of Georgia for you. Come on. You should be ashamed of
Make
yourself.
them think you're better. Then they'll let you out. But be careful.
Yeah.
They'll be waiting for you on the
Come
outside.
on, sweetheart.
Well, so that's the end of our conversation with the doctor. I mean, according to her, it sounds like she's saying that this is the first reality, and they're just making us think that it's something else. But then again, here's Michaels. He's like an orderly here, so what's that about? But then again, Dr. Marks said that they operate on their own operatives to give them the faces of our family and friends, so maybe it's not actually Michaels. Maybe it's someone who works for the government and is just made to look like Michaels. I don't know why that would be, but that could be.
Hello, Andrew. I'm here to conduct your 6-week evaluation. Now, you can just relax. There's no need to be nervous. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. You answer with the first thing that comes into your mind, all right?
All right?
First off, why do you think you're here?
Because I'm sick.
What do you think is wrong with you?
I've lost my mind.
Does this bother you?
Yes?
Why?
Well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? I like my mind. I don't want to lose it. I want to keep it with me. I'm not in touch with reality.
Does this bother you?
Yes?
Why?
Because I want to be a part of society.
And you think you can't do that if you're not in touch with reality?
That's right.
So you might notice that this is not one continuous conversation. These are different options that you could pick from her initial question. So this is us trying to lie to the doctor, trying to follow Dr. Marks's advice of making the doctor here think that we don't actually believe anything we've been saying, so maybe we can get out of here, even though we actually do believe.
I hallucinate.
Does this bother you?
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't like seeing things.
Well, Andrew, I can certainly understand your feelings about all this. This is a very good sign. The first step to healing is recognizing that you're sick. I'll tell you what, I'm going to recommend that you be transferred to a minimum security transitional facility. We can continue treatment there. Congratulations, Andrew. This is a very important step.
The government is persecuting me.
I see. Why are they doing this?
Because I know what they're up to.
And what is that?
They're trying to destroy the Earth.
If they did that, where would they live?
That's exactly the plan. They will live on a Linde.
I see. I understand your point exactly. Thank you, Andrew. This was very helpful.
I mean, if you just tell her the truth of what you actually believe, it doesn't sound like it's going to go very well for you.
I'm losing my mind.
Why do you say that?
Because I see things.
I understand. What kinds of things?
Other people, other places.
Are those other people here now?
Well, no, of course not.
And what else do you see?
Well, sometimes I'm in another place.
Are you there now?
Oh, come on. Obviously, I'm not.
I see. I understand your point exactly. Thank you, Andrew. This was very helpful.
I'm not sure what is real anymore.
I have that same problem.
No, I'm serious. I'm never sure where I'm going to wake up.
Ditto.
No, look. Sometimes I'm on another planet.
Done it.
I'm serious. Half the time, I think the people around me are giant insects.
You too? I know exactly what you're talking about. You mean like this? I'll make a note on your...
Now, at this point, that's just combining different realities. Like, there's one reality in which we're thinking that maybe the Alinde are actually bugs. And that's just combining it here with the Asylum reality. I don't see how those two get combined, but it's not the weirdest thing that'll happen here.
I spend time on another planet.
I have that same problem.
Look, I'm serious.
I think this one's very similar to the previous one.
Ditto.
I mean it. Half the time, I think the people around me are giant insects.
You too? I know exactly what you're talking about. You mean like this?
Yeah.
I'll make a note on...
That one's very close. I'm not sure if that's exactly the close, but it's very close. However, of course, as we all know, frequently in this game, you can make some choices that just seem to lead to game overs, and that does include in this area here, such as this.
Your record.
To fulfill your sexual appetites.
Well, it's about time. I can't tell you how much I need that. You are so cute. I've been watching you. You obviously have the right, qualifications for the job. Yum. Mind if I eat you first?
So, I can imagine that if you get this in the game, it would probably be followed up with the scene where the scriptwriter is very mad about how you decided to end his story. Probably. I would guess that. I don't think the writer would be... I think the writer would be very unhappy about that one. So let's see. Now I think, yes, I think what we're going to get here now is the actual ending of the Asylum pathway.
Okay, you're all set.
Congratulations.
Hello?
It's always so gratifying to see a patient get better. You better get going.
Hold on, you can't leave. There's a problem.
Look, I know I said we would have you transferred to a minimum security transitional facility, and I still think that's the best thing. But when Dr. Saunders returned from vacation,
Hello,
he decided...
Mr. Griffin. That'll be all, Doctor.
But, sir.
That'll be all, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Well, now, Mr. Griffin, you almost got away with it, didn't you? But I'm on your little tricks. You need to remember, you're mine, and you're not going anywhere. Now, let's get started, shall we?
I hope this doesn't hurt.
So, does that confirm that the Asylum is actually just in the original reality? And we're there because we know too much about what the UN's plan is? That seemed like it probably confirms it. Also, something that I like is it also confirms that the actor who played Colonel Saunders did have to shave his beard off, at least for this scene, as playing the doctor, because he needed just the mustache. I wonder if they realized that they had to film those other scenes with the Colonel after he shaved, and it's like, oh, well, I guess we just have to do that then. But this does seem like the end of the Asylum pathway. You get injected with a big needle, and your doctor is Saunders, and that's just where you're going to stay, I guess. That's the end. That seems to be the last clip of the Asylum path. So that's one of the options that you could get. Like I said, this doesn't really have to do with the main story of the game, but it is one of like the little side things that you could get that could end up being your actual ending. Now, another one I want to look at, another one that has quite a few clips, is the hospital path. Now, when you start the game, another option is that you could pick a path where you are apparently getting medical care in a hospital. Not an asylum, but like you were in a car crash and you're in a hospital. And this seems to be the path for this.
The girl's not doing very well. The place is a real mess.
What's up with him?
The lab's testing all his juice. From the way he's been acting, it looks like he's taken a hallucinogen. But we'll know more in a few hours once the blood work comes back.
I tell you what, I've seen a lot of accidents in my time, but this one takes a cake. That poor girl's face, man.
Jenny? I hope she's all right. Please, God, let her be all right.
Are you all right? Are you all right?
Right. So you've been in a car crash, you're in the hospital, you're barely conscious, you hear about a girl who got severely injured, and then suddenly you're on Allende and you're on an adventure. But what is the reality of this? Let's continue.
You need to lie back and rest. Don't try to talk now.
Tell you what, I've seen a lot of accidents in my time, but this one takes a cake. That poor girl's face, man.
Hey, Michaels, good to see you.
Look. For the last time, my name is Albertson, okay? Bruce Albertson, not Michaels. Albertson. Now don't fucking call me that again.
No, look, you misunderstood.
Yeah, I got something for you to misunderstand. Ah. Oh, hell, I wonder what's on the television. So fucking bored. Probably reruns of old bad musicals.
Bottom of the ninth,
Maybe that
2 outs,
purple
bases
monster
full,
will
and
be on
Ogden
there,
to
whatever,
bat.
you know, for kids.
Hey, kiddies.
So it looks like that if we're on the hospital path, we get Mr. Albertson as our roommate, but he is very grumpy. He is very grumpy about the situation, as well as having a roommate who keeps calling him Michaels. And I guess that we would get these on occasion as we wake up in the hospital throughout the game.
What are you doing here?
What the fuck does it look like? I'm getting my hair done. Okay? Asshole?
No, look, you misunderstood.
Yeah, I got something for you to misunderstand. Jesus, I wonder what's on television. Man, I am so fucking bored. Let's see what shit's on today. You like sports? Nah, probably not. Probably some kind of fairy, right? What do you want, the Home Shopping Network? You want to shop for some pearls or something?
Look, just stay away from me.
Hey, no problem. You're not exactly my type anyway there, sailor. Well, blow me down, asshole.
No, look, you misunderstood me.
Yeah, I got something for you to misunderstand. Alright. Well, let's see what's on TV, shall we? I'm so fucking bored. Listen to you jabber on. Jesus, God. Well, could be worse. I could be listening to this jabber on. What is this, C-SPAN? Jesus, God. Who are these assholes?
I thought you were dead.
Yeah? Fuck you. You know, you're not looking so hot yourself, asshole.
What? No. Look, you misunderstood me.
Oh, yeah? Well, I got something for you to misunderstand. Let's see what's on the television, huh? I am so fucking bored.
And this path has so many responses to the phrase "you misunderstood me." I mean, you could give someone the finger, or flick some booger at them, or try to turn them off with a remote. So many ideas.
Can't tell you.
Drew, sweetie, please wake up. Drew, it's me. It's Jenny. Can you hear me? Drew, wake up! I don't know. I don't think it's working.
The doctor says you're just gonna have to keep trying. She said it could take days or... Oh my God. His eyes are open. He's awake. Oh my God, you did it. He's awake. Nurse! Doctor! Help!
Oh my God, you're awake. Oh, I was so worried about you. We were all so worried about you. Oh, Drew. I missed you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about what happened. Drew? No, please, don't go back to sleep. Drew!
Well, it appears that Jenny's face is fine. Doesn't seem like she was injured in the car crash. Also, it's kind of odd because they make it sound like Drew was in a coma, but then we also see Drew talking with Albertson, so maybe he's in and out. Maybe he's just kind of in and out as he... I guess it would make sense because when he's unconscious, you know, he's going back to Allende, and then he's sliding back here and he wakes up for a little bit, as I guess is the idea.
No. Don't try and talk. Just stay quiet. No, please, don't go back to sleep. Drew!
See? I told you. Hey, I want some of what he's on.
I don't even know where that would fit in.
Mr. Griffin, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't know that he can hear you.
He looks awake.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, he was talking earlier.
And nobody asked you.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was saying some pretty weird shit.
Mr. Griffin, I need to speak to you about your accident. A young woman was hurt very badly, and I need some answers.
Forget it. He's not there.
Bullshit. He was talking earlier.
Great.
All right, so in this reality, it was another woman who was horribly injured, not Jenny. But was Jenny ever injured? I mean, presumably, if we got into the car crash and Drew has been in a coma the whole time, then that means that Quantum Gate never happened. It means that has all been a dream of Drew as he's been lying in this hospital bed.
It seems to have had some effect. Let's try it again. Fire. Hello, Aaron.
Yes, and I do believe that we are now getting into the ending of the hospital path.
Andrew, I have some bad news. I'm afraid that you're just not responding to the treatment the way that I had hoped. So I'm bringing in a specialist. But don't worry, he's had a lot of experience with cases like yours.
Hello, sweetheart. Listen, you're going to be just fine. I've spoken with the doctor, and he says that your rehabilitation will be long and painful.
I just want to stop it there. That is a very good line. Honey, don't worry. You'll be fine. Your rehabilitation is going to be very painful. And then you have this look. It's a very good line.
But that he feels certain that he will be able to get you to where he wants you to be. Drew, this is Dr. Saunders.
Hello, Mr. Griffin. You go by Drew, don't you? Now, this shouldn't hurt too much.
So if I'm reading that right, he just shoves his whole hand up there. Just the whole hand. He just looked like he was going in on that. Just like, all right, there's no good way of doing this. We're going in. So that's the rehabilitation, but we still have one more video clip in the hospital path where unfortunately rehabilitation does not go well for Drew.
I'm sorry, but I don't think we have any choice.
Oh, Dr. Saunders, I'm so frightened.
It's all right. This is the way it should be.
I think so. What kind of life could Drew have had like this anyway?
You know, for most of the game, my favorite actor is the guy who plays Michaels, but with this ending, the guy who plays Saunders is really growing on me. That's an ending. The hospital ending does not does not end up very well for Drew Griffin. I don't know what kind of rehabilitation he had to do to end up as a brain in an aquarium, but the only thing they could do was pull the plug. That's the hospital path, which is real. Like, what is real? Was that real? Maybe they're all real. Who can say? That's not the only path, of course, that we can take. This next one, not actually sure what leads to this. I was looking through the video clips, and I didn't really see anything else in the game that led to this particular clip. I only have this one, so let's watch this here.
The UN says the Eden Project is proceeding ahead of schedule. The latest results from World 10 show that the ecosystem has completely stabilized, and scientists feel confident that all future goals can be met.
True, but is there anything good on television tonight?
Artificial person. Artificial person.
Well, that's not the ending. I mean, the voice wasn't from the ending. It was LP Bot just letting me know that there was an artificial person there. But I'm not sure where this would fit. Like, it seems...
Artificial person.
Yes, I know.
Does LP Bot read these out now?
I mean, he could. I have to turn that off, though, because we do have to pay attention to these endings. He was reading a few lines from chat, yes. So, where would this fit? It said the artificial person was reporting that the Eden Project, which was to take over the alien planet, was in effect and it was going to be completed. Drew was watching the news, presumably from Earth, and then we saw Jenny come in, and she was fine. Her face was not injured. So what reality is that? I don't know. I don't know what timeline that would be, but I did not see any other video clips that might lead to this. And also it ends with, like, the word Vortex appearing on screen, maybe indicating that this was an illusion or something, that you're still trapped in the Vortex, whatever that means. We never got a definition on what the Vortex is, but maybe that's supposed to be not something that's not real. I don't know. But that was the only clip I could see in that particular line. I don't really know what else is supposed to be there. But here's one. Okay, so something similar to what we've seen before. We've seen a number of times the scriptwriter, the fictional scriptwriter, getting real mad at the choices you made. Well, there is another option for Greg Roach himself, the director and the actual writer, to get real mad at you because of the choices that you made. We didn't get this one, but it's possible. Let's watch this.
Cut! Cut! What the hell was that? What the hell are you doing? Is that the way you want this movie to end? Jesus, you're killing me here. What, they stopped making Baywatch, so your agent sends you to me? What the hell is going on? I'm a nice guy. I work hard. Do I deserve this? I don't think so. What, wait a minute. Let me guess. Voyager sent you over here to ruin my life. Look, just get out of here. Go to your trailer and come back when you think you can get it right. All right, everybody, take 5. Cut!
He's very upset. Apparently, our character was an actor who was on, maybe an extra on Baywatch. I mean, Baywatch would still been on the air at that point, and now we're working for Greg Roach in his interactive movie. I don't know what Voyager is supposed to be referring to. This came out in 94. That would have been before Voyager, wouldn't it? I'm trying to think about the timeline there. I mean, of course, I don't think it would be referring to Star Trek Voyager. I don't really know what that means in this way. But we do have this option of somehow making Greg Roach himself mad at us. I don't know how you do that, because we never did that when we actually played the game. But it's here. It is here. What else can we get? Okay, I think I see. Okay, so this is kind of an odd one. This is going to be Greg Roach pitching the idea of a new ending for the game to his producers. No idea how you get this one, but here it is.
That's it?
That's it.
That's the new ending?
That's the new ending.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Why don't you get yourself a cup of coffee?
Hey, love you.
Mwah.
Fuck. God!
What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Did you like that?
No, did you?
No.
Me neither.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
I know.
What?
I'm gonna find a replacement.
Great idea. Who? Who are we gonna get?
I don't know. Someone who understands action and can give us an up ending. That ending was so down. What was he thinking? This is the 90s. There are no down endings in the 90s.
No, great idea. Who are we gonna get?
I'm thinking.
How about that wrestler guy?
What wrestler?
The Hogan guy.
Hogan?
Yeah.
Paul Hogan? You mean Paul Hogan? He's not a wrestler. He's Crocodile Dundee.
No, not Paul Hogan. I'm talking about the Hulk.
Hulk?
Yeah.
The Hulk?
Yeah.
You want Lou Ferrigno to direct?
No, not Lou Ferrigno. I'm talking about Hulk Hogan. He's a wrestler. The kids love him. He's got that Thunder in Paradise thing on TV.
He has no experience. What about Steven Seagal?
No, he's in India shooting a fistful of sand.
Too bad David Lane died.
Who?
I wonder if this might be the weirdest of the endings. It goes on for so long. They reference Hulk Hogan, and the thing that they reference him from is Thunder in Paradise, of all things. Like, not anything else that he did. Not the wrestling or, like, the movies. Like, obviously his movie career was not that big, but he did have some theatrical movies. But they reference Thunder in Paradise, of all things. I'm not really sure who they're talking about at the end when they say, too bad David Lane died. I don't know who that is or what that's being referred to. I'm also thinking about which ending this could follow, because they said it's the 90s, you can't have a downer ending in the 90s, which is not true. There were plenty of 90s movies that had really depressing endings, like surprisingly depressing. So I guess that you must have an ending where things go really bad for Drew, probably, that would end up following this, I suppose. Well, this would follow that, I mean. But this was the producer ending, which, like I said, maybe the weirdest one, I think. Maybe the weirdest one. Yeah, okay. I see what we're going to do next. I mentioned previously that on occasion you get things during the game that implies that the Alinde might actually be bugs. Let's take a look at that. There are not many clips for this. Let's take a look at it. So the first clip is at the beginning of the game, and you see like these bugs standing over you. Like if you click this at the beginning of the game, I think it puts you on that path. And I think you can get this ending where you're partying with the Alinde. Don't know how you get it, but you can have this party with them. Everyone's having a good time, full of dancing and music.
What is happening to me?
What is going on here? This is not real. This is not happening.
No, don't eat my brain!
Drew, wake up. Sweetie, wake up. Oh, you poor thing, you're having a nightmare. Shh, it's okay.
God.
You're okay.
Oh, Jenny, I was having the worst dream. I dreamt I was being eaten by bugs.
Eaten by bugs? Now, why would they do that?
So, this one, they cross over the bug timeline with the Jenny timeline. Like, in this timeline, you wake up with Jenny in your bed, and she is not injured. And you're, apparently married to her on Earth. But she's a bug? I don't see how you cross those two timelines over, but I guess you can. And there's also, I think, if you win the game, if you save the Alinde, it's possible to get this video clip.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I wanted to thank you for all your help. You saved us. You saved our planet. I think it's amazing that a human helped the... Alinde. Thank you.
It was, I know the video's kind of blurry, but he had like an antenna that came out of his head and then went back in. So what would that mean if the Elinde were actually bugs? I guess that would mean that the VR was not actually lying to you. The VR was accurately showing you the enemy that you were fighting, and the Elinde were camouflaging themselves when you took the helmet off, so you would think they would look pleasing to your eyes. And because of that, you would be inclined to help them because they look like you, instead of looking like mantises. I don't really know. I guess I don't really know why it would matter if they're bugs or more human-like, but I guess it's just a sympathy thing. Would Drew, a human, would he have sympathy for large bugs? Or would he be more likely to help out handsome human people that look like angels? I don't know. But I guess maybe that's the idea, maybe the revelation of, oh, the Colonel wasn't actually lying to us after all. The Elinde were lying to us. I guess that's the idea. Is that the truth? Well, again, all realities are real. Everything is true. Nothing is false. You don't get too many clips regarding this, but you get a few of them. They're there. I think for right now, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to continue on looking through these endings to the Vortex and seeing all these different realities that Drew Griffin can find himself in. Back in a minute. Welcome back to the conclusion of the incredible adventures of Drew Griffin. Incredible heroes, incredible space hero, his remarkable adventures. Welcome back to it. We're getting to the end of Drew's timeline. We're reaching it. The next one we're going to be looking at here is... Okay, so there was a timeline where Drew woke up in the base. And it seemed like we had either had the option of staying in the base and working for Saunders, or going back to sleep and waking up with the Elinde. So this timeline seems to involve waking up in the base and being taken care for by a doctor in the base. So this seems to be the series of clips about that.
Are they all like this?
Yes, there's not much I can do.
Are they dangerous?
That's my fear. The symptoms border on profound psychosis. It could get very ugly.
What do you do?
Keep them so doped up they can't move.
So these are the side effects, huh?
Okay, so that's the opening clip. If you click on that, of course, it follows with you starting the beginning of the game. You're at the village talking to the Elinde, but you saw this image of the Colonel and a doctor looking down on you, and the Colonel saying, so these are the side effects, huh? And then, as you continue to play the game, you might get clips like this.
All right, you, that's enough. Back in bed. God damn it. You were just gonna make it worse. Now lie down. Somebody needs a shot.
So this is the doctor who seems to be taking care of us during these visions where we wake up on the base.
Look, it doesn't matter to me. I'm sorry you're so insecure. Look, first of all, it's not that little, and secondly, oh shit, I gotta go. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be out of bed. You need to lie back down. You're just gonna make it worse. Now lie down.
So I guess in these clips, when we phase back to the base, we're just in bed and we keep trying to get up, and the doctor keeps telling you, no, don't get up. You have to stay in bed.
How are we doing here? You just keep resting. We'll have you back on track real soon. Now, you're gonna feel a little prick. Sounds like a date I had once.
Oh, not a shot. I hate shots. Look at the size of that fucking thing. What's in that? Orange juice!
Our hero. I mean, at least he showed some emotion in that line. Oh, some of the files, by the way, are audio. So no video for that. This would just be an audio file of Drew's thoughts as he sees the needle. But there's only one other clip that I saw on this path, and this is the ending, I guess, for this particular path.
Thank God. I didn't think you were going to pull out of it. All right, listen to me. You are suffering severe side effects from the VR compatibility drug we've been giving you. Judging from the way you've been thrashing around, you were hallucinating like crazy. But it's all right. It was all just a bad dream. Everything's going to be just fine now.
All right, so that is an ending, apparently. The ending is that the events of the Vortex didn't happen. That Michaels was right in Quantum Gate 1. They were giving you a drug, a VR drug, to enhance your compatibility with the VR. But everything that happened in the Vortex with the Alinde didn't happen. You just dreamed it. Rather, you've been lying here in the base the whole time, recovering from your exposure to the VR drug. And then the game ends like this, apparently. So that's another path that Drew Griffin could take. Not all that eventful. No one really likes endings where it was all a dream. But, I mean, at least Michaels was right. They were giving you a drug the whole time. This next one, okay. I have no idea what you would need to do in this game to get this ending to happen.
Oh, shit. Oh, I don't believe it. Did you lose much work?
Just the entire last chapter, thank you.
You gotta learn to back up your data.
Griffin! God damn it, Griffin. If I catch you writing your skits one more time on the clock, I'm gonna fire your little interactive ass. Now get back to work!
Yes, sir.
So, in this ending, I guess the events of Quantum Gate 1 and 2 is like a story that Drew is typing at his desk at work instead of doing his work. And the boss there did refer to him as Griffin, which means it's self-insert. Drew Griffin is sitting at his desk, goofing off, writing his self-insert fiction where he is the great hero who is going to save the Alinde, and he's fighting against the evil military, which is headed up by his boss. Like, his boss is the villain. That's kind of sad, isn't it, if this is a self-insert fic? Like, Drew is just the saddest hero, and this is like his self-insert, apparently. He can't even write a cool hero for himself. Like I said, I have no idea what you would need to do to make this ending happen. It just seems there's no other clips that seems like it relates to this. It just seems like it comes out of nowhere. I don't know how this comes about. But that is one potential ending. Now, here, okay, so here's another ending. Well, first of all, when you begin the game, one of the clips you have the option on clicking on is that. Now, we recognize what that is. That is traveling through the quantum gate, and Drew screaming, but that's one of the clips you can click on at the beginning. So you see that, and then you end up again at the start of the game, in the village, talking to the Alinde. But why is this one of the options? Why would that be the case? Well, apparently, if you reach the end of the game, you get this.
Oh my God. Are you all right? Jesus Christ. The damn thing malfunctioned. You were stuck in there for 20 minutes. You're lucky to be alive. Are you okay?
Orientation is about to begin. All new arrivals, please report to the first floor briefing room.
You better get down there. Try not to fall asleep. It really pisses the colonel off.
So this particular ending is, once again, the events of Quantum Gate 1 and 2 did not happen. Rather, Drew got into the Quantum Gate at the beginning of the first game, but he never came out the other side. He just was in there for like 20 minutes because of some kind of glitch, and while he was in there, I guess he just imagined the whole events of Quantum Gate 1 and 2, and then that tech, the guy who operates the Quantum Gate, finally pulls him out of there, and hey, great, you're here. Time to go to the briefing. Time to start the events of Quantum Gate 1. Nothing that you did up to now actually happened. No one really satisfied by that kind of ending, though, I think. But that is one possibility. This next one, I did not see many clips related to this, so I'm not sure if there's anything else to this one. But one of the options when you start the game, one of those clips that you can click on, is this.
Foe behind.
Our system experiencing trouble. Your envirosuit has been breached. Prior to euthanization, your employment contract entitles you to make peace with the universe and/or God as you perceive he, she, or it to be. Euthanasia will occur in 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
Okay, so this one, well, we know what that is. We've seen the euthanasia countdown, but usually it ends with our helmet coming off, and we see that the bugs are actually the Elinde. This one did not. This one, it just fades out, and then you're at the start of the game, right? In the village talking with the Elinde. So what is this? Well, I didn't see any video clips as I was searching through the files that related to this, but in the endings, I did find an audio file. There was no video. There was no... Maybe there's an image that's supposed to be associated with this, I don't know. But the only thing I found is this one audio file, which probably is the ending for this. So I'm guessing if you click that at the beginning and you go through the game, you eventually will get this.
Euthanasia timer complete. We believe that the method of life force truncation we have selected for you today is quick, painless, and humane. However, given the scarcity of accurate data, there is a minor probability that we're wrong. If this is the case, let us apologize in advance. We wish you all the best as we send you to your eternal rest. Happy trails, Private Griffin.
I hope this doesn't hurt.
It always hurts. So yes, I think what's happening in this ending is that Quantum Gate 1 happens, but Quantum Gate 2 does not. Like this is like Quantum Gate 2 is just an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, where he's about to die, and then he experiences this delusion in the few seconds as he is about to die. So occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, or the bad ending in Silent Hill 1, a couple of references for that kind of thing, is what I think is happening here. It is not the case that an Elinde removes his helmet and stops the euthanasia system. That does not happen. He just lies there in his suit and gets killed by his own suit. And that's the ending of Drew. It's kind of an appropriate ending. Can't say that, I can't say it's not for old Drew Griffin, but that seems to be what's happening there. Like I said, I could not find any visuals for that, just the audio file. I assume that there would be some sort of image that would be on the screen in the game while that was happening, but I don't actually know. But that is the euthanasia ending. Okay, next up. Once again, I have no idea what you would need to do in the game to get this ending.
Did you like that?
No.
Me neither. Did you understand that?
No.
Me neither.
I told you we should have rented Cocoon.
So, in this one, Quantum Gate is just a movie that an old couple are watching on TV. I don't know. I don't know what you would need to do to get this one. There's also a variation of it, so let's watch the second version.
That was not the Quantum Gate.
Yes, it was.
That was not the Quantum Gate.
Yes, it
That
was.
was not the Quantum Gate. Where is your little boy with the green hair, the Dean Stockwell? That's not the Quantum Gate.
That was Quantum Leap.
Where's your Scott Blackula, the little blonde-haired, good-looking boy who
That was
jumping
Quantum
through
Leap.
time on sometimes
This was
he's a
Quantum
boy.
Gate.
What?
That was Quantum Leap. This was Quantum Gate.
Gate Leap. What the hell?
I told you we should have rented Cocoon.
I do like the Quantum Leap reference. I watch that show all the time as a kid. What do you even do to find this ending? I have no idea. Like, what choices could you possibly make for this to happen? Like, some of these endings, I get the idea of the path you would be taking to reach them. Some of these, I have no idea. I have no idea how you would get to this. Where would this even come from in the course of this game? The next one that we're going to look at, this is also a single clip ending. Once again, I don't know what you would be doing to get to this, but here's another ending that Drew Griffin could possibly get.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, so that's how it ended, huh? Yes. You have the most elaborate dreams I have ever encountered. Now, next session, that's hot. Next session, we will discuss your mother, masturbation, and your mother. So, goodbye, Drew.
Does it have to be in that order? So in this one, I guess the events of Quantum Gate 1 and 2 is just a story that Drew has been relating to his therapist, and the actor who plays Saunders, he's obviously imitating someone. It kind of reminds me of that one guy from Ghostbusters 2. I probably should know the name of the actor, but I don't remember it. That's like the main thing that pops out at me. But once again, I don't know what you would do to get this one. So many of these endings just result in the events of Quantum Gate 1 and 2 being fake and just something that Drew in the real world has cooked up, like as a dream or a story, or just like it's a movie that people are watching. How is it possible that there are so many paths in this game, this interactive movie, that can lead to all of these different outcomes where nothing actually was real? I'm not sure. The next one we're going to look at, this is going to be short, but memorable. You might remember there is a part of the game, I think this takes place, part of the interactive film, gotta use the proper nomenclature. I think this takes place after The Sounding, where Ilria takes Drew back to his hut and says, "This is your hut," and then he goes to sleep in the hut, right? Do you remember that part? And there's a part where you can ask Ilria, you can tell her that you'll make her breakfast, thus indicating that maybe Drew is requesting that she stay over for the night. Maybe Drew is making the moves on Ilria. You might remember that. Well, it turns out that if you follow that course of conversation, it can go further. It didn't go further when we were playing, but it seems like you can go further with that particular subject. And if you do, this is the outcome.
I want to fuck you.
Let me show you something.
I hope this doesn't hurt.
Don't eat my brain!
They really do reuse that "Don't Eat My Brain" sound clip in a number of these. I can also assume that maybe the director would be quite angry at you if you got this one. This seems like something that would get him mad, probably. That's Drew's own fault. Like, he's saying that he wants to get busy with the Alinde, but he doesn't even know how the biology works. And it's like, unfortunately for him, turns out they have mouths on their stomachs, and apparently that's just part of the process. Drew didn't know. He didn't know. He thought that he could handle whatever she had to offer. He could not. No, he couldn't. Now, finally, we have reached the final ending that I was able to find. And most of these clips we've already seen, but I wanted to show them just to refresh your memory on the path to this particular end. In one of the paths, you could end the game by working for Saunders and operating the gate. And you might remember that as you operate the gate, Marks and Michaels invade and hold you at gunpoint and make you operate the gate, right? So when you're on this path and the technician tells you how to operate the gate, this is one of the things the technician says.
And finally, this is the frequency selector. It tells the gate where to send things. Don't touch it. Not unless you want to be responsible for sending somebody to the planet of intelligent dogs. Just leave it set the way it is.
Right, so he mentions the planet of intelligent dogs. Now, during the conflict later on, if you move that switch, you change these settings, then Michaels knocks out Saunders and, throws him onto the platform for the gate, right? And so this happens.
What the... I hope this doesn't hurt.
And he gets sent out on the gate. Now, we got that. When we were playing through the game, we did get this scene. But it turns out there is one last scene on this particular path that we did not get, and I don't know why we didn't get it, but it turns out we can get this.
Well, I just found him one day, and he's really not as stupid as he looks. Watch.
What a bitch.
You see? Good boy. Good boy. Roll over. Play dead.
I don't know why we didn't get that. But you really have to give it up for the actor who plays Saunders. He is putting in some work in these endings. Like, his best performances are in these endings that you're never going to see. So yes, you do indeed send Saunders to the planet of the intelligent dogs. Now that is all the endings, that I was able to find in the file structure. Again, it's not ideal to have to find them through the file structure instead of playing the game to get them, but just due to the audio problems that I was getting, 50% of the time that I would try to play the game, interactive movie, the sound wouldn't work. So it just wasn't a possibility anymore. It just wasn't plausible. So this is how we had to do it, because we had to see all of the possibilities that the Vortex Quantum Gate 2 had to offer to us. And now we have. Now we have seen... it turns out that the actual good ending was the first one that we got, I guess. Remember the first one was... We defeated the colonel, and then it says 5 years later, and then we see a peace meeting with the Alinde, and it says, "We've achieved peace. Thank you, Drew," right? I guess that is the good ending. That is supposed to be the main good ending, I suppose. It seems like the best one you can get. The best serious one. And then there are some other alternate reality endings and a bunch of joke endings, but I guess we got the actual serious good ending our first time round. And like I said, that's all that I was able to find. If there's anything else in there, I did not see the video files as I was looking through these. But I would like to know how you're supposed to get to some of these, because some of them just seem just completely separate from anything else that happens in the story. So, I don't know. What I would say about the Vortex, though, is that if it wasn't for the audio problems, I would have liked it a lot more. But from what I did experience, I enjoyed it. It was a bigger, fuller experience than Quantum Gate 1. I was complaining in Quantum Gate 1 about how your choices didn't matter and how it just ended the same way no matter what you did. And clearly with the Vortex, that is not the case. With the Vortex, there are many possibilities and many endings, and endings that you could never predict. You could never actually guess how some of these are going to go. The mechanics of Quantum Gate 2 are still kind of weird. Like, you have some things like the emotions that you can pick, like on like 2 or 3 times during the game, you have like emotional choices at the bottom of the screen, which you would think would have been used a lot more, but it was only used like 3 times during the game. It's kind of weird. Things like when you're going through the maze in the tree, and it turns out it's not actually a maze. It's just you're gonna just pick a path and you'll get there. It's fine. Like, what is that? I don't know. So there are some things that stand out as kind of odd, but overall, it was a bigger experience than Quantum Gate 1, and it seems like they were able to, I guess they had the time and budget to actually expand on what they did when the first one was released. And overall, I feel pretty satisfied with what we did here. I was not very satisfied at the end of Quantum Gate 1, but I feel pretty satisfied with getting to the end of the Vortex, especially after seeing all of these different endings that we were able to get, and seeing all of these different performances that the actor playing Saunders did. I think that's really what won me over, is seeing some of the things that he was doing. So yeah, I feel, even though I was disappointed by the technical issues, I feel pretty satisfied now that we've reached the end, and that we have completed the adventures of one of the most indifferent, least inspirational protagonists I've ever seen in a story. I don't know what the idea was to make Drew so indifferent to everything that was happening, just like bored with everything. While everyone else was trying to act and actually trying to be emotional, and Drew's just like, that's a big rock. And that's like the most interest we can get out of him of anything that happens. But that's the Vortex. And that's it for the Quantum Gate duology. I'm sure we will return for more of Greg Roach. He did make other interactive stories, including the X-Files FMV game. And that, X-Files, big name. You'd assume that there would be a budget behind it. So what does Greg Roach get to do when he has a big license like that to work with? Well, I guess we will probably find out eventually. Not right now, but eventually we'll find out. But for right now, I guess the only thing we can do is salute Drew Griffin and remember him with one of his many memorable lines. Because as I went through the file structure, I did find audio files for a number of his lines. Now, of course, the one that we know of, that we'll remember, is "I hope this doesn't hurt." But I was looking through these files. I think I found a file here that more encapsulates the hero that is Drew Griffin. We will remember him by this audio clip.
Shut up! Don't laugh at me!
Yes, shut up. Don't laugh at Drew Griffin. You'll hurt his feelings.
Shut up! Don't laugh at me!
And so, with that, I think we will say goodbye and good night to the Vortex, a mind-bending cinematic journey on 3 CDs. And don't forget about the 1 CD of Quantum Gate 1. It's like a 4 CD adventure altogether. A virtual cinema movie by Greg Roach. I hope you've enjoyed this interactive multimedia narrative experience for your Windows 3.1 PC. I hope you have a good night and I hope you feel satisfied and full to bursting of narrative. Have a good night.